Welcome back. This is, I suppose, the annual garden video. This will be part 4. So come with me and we'll go have a look around the garden. So we've had an update with the avocado. The one I planted here didn't die. It was actually doing alright. But I've removed that. I've put it inside in a big pot we have inside. And this is one that sprouted naturally in the vegetable garden in the compost. So I've decided that's probably a better one to have planted. So we'll see how that goes. The lime larva is still kicking, which is a positive. Hasn't really spread. It's still going. So let's go check out the real backyard. As you will see, not much has really changed in the backyard. There's a few new additions. The lime tree is still kicking. Still get more limes than we can give away. We've moved the monstera. We actually don't know where to put this at the moment. So it's just sitting in the back here till we find a spot for it. So this part of the yard we refer to as the general backyard. We've got a couple of citruses, lime, lemon. We've got blood plum and nectarine. Over here and check out the pear tree. So this pear tree we planted 2 to 3 years ago. It's got the first pear on it. We're looking forward to trying it. The positive of planting this pear tree, we had the apple tree, which we'll go look at soon. The apple tree was quite established when we moved in, but the problem was it needs to be pollinated. So now with the pear here, this pear is actually self-pollinating, but it's cross-pollinating with the apple tree that's allowing the apples and the apple tree to grow. We've got our lemon tree that we saved a couple of years ago. It's split in half because it had too much fruit, but it's doing well. So where I'm standing here was the beautiful orange tree. As you can see, it's all gone now. Hence why we have the new orange tree in the front yard. So as you can see, the magnolias are really kicked off. They'd be pushing 2.6, 2.7 meters. Starting to get a bit of privacy. We've stopped picking the flowers off. We were picking all the flowers off when they're buds like this, just to help it grow.
Can you find a flower, Owen?
Look at that one. This one's opened up already.
That's so dead. It's so dead now. Daddy, it's so dead.
It is. So, as you can see, this one's about 3 meters.
Oh, there's another
It's taken probably 5 years for them to grow.
Look, there's a new flower in that.
There is.
That's the butter.
Can we pull that part off?
You can now.
You can if you want. Last video, I was showing you some of the kiwi fruit we had for the first time. We ended up getting probably a dozen kiwi fruit all up. They were pretty nice. And we've got some fresh ones growing again. Here's one right here. And there's obviously a fair few more in there, but they hide away. I think they like to grow in the shade.
I'm looking if there's any inside. I got my turn. I will need to.
So our nectarine tree is still struggling. It doesn't look as bad at the moment, but when it comes out with fresh shoots, it's covered in curly leaf. Most of the curly leaf's fallen off, and the new shoots come out, but the problem is it's affected the fruit. There's still got some fruit on it. More on the higher branches where the curly leaf's not as bad, but I've been on Vasili's website and I've brought some spray and I'm going to attack it every 3-4 weeks once it goes dormant. And hopefully next year we get a real good run. Follow me now and we'll have a look at the vegetable garden. So the vegetable garden over a couple of years has changed shape a bit. The passion fruit vine we had's died, so I planted a new one, the Ned Kelly passion fruit. It's actually taken a little bit to establish, but hopefully it kicks off soon. Not a whole lot growing in here at the moment. We've got a couple of cauliflowers left. We've got potatoes growing here and another little bed over there. We've got the last few weeks of kale growing, and we've got some old onions which I've neglected. I've really got to dig them up. And then if you have a look through, you'll see all these beautiful tomatoes. They all look a bit sad at the moment because I found them all through the vegetable garden. They're all ones that are just grown in the compost and from old tomatoes from last year and stuff. So I actually don't know what sorts of tomatoes they are. I know I had some big Malaccas last year. I also had some cherry tomatoes, some Roman tomatoes, so it could be a good mixture here. So we'll find out in a couple of weeks what they are. One thing that took me a while to grow was rhubarb. Now I've actually got the rhubarb growing now. Jen's going to make some apple rhubarb pie, but the rhubarb's actually thriving. I'm really happy with how well that's doing. Got our grapevine. Hasn't done much ever since we've had it. Behind me over here, we've got our dragon fruit. I gave some offshoots to my mate Pablo. He actually got some fruit out of it. He neglected his a bit and it fruited. I looked after mine too much and it never fruited. So hopefully with some flowers on it and some fruit grows. We've got a lot of new shoots coming up on it, so hopefully it's a good sign for what's to come. Secret with dragon fruit is the fruit generally grows on the downward hanging branches, so that's why you grow them up and you let them flop. So just here we've got a blueberry bush covered in blueberries. I think they're a different species to what grows at the shop. Cool. Well, they might be the same. We still haven't had any
sunshine. Blue.
We still haven't had any make it far enough for us to try, but you know, there's always a bit of hope. Behind me here is the apple tree. You can see the foundation on it. It's quite big. When we moved in, the tree was as tall as me. I cut it right back. We had 3 or 4 years where it did absolutely nothing. I gave up on the tree. I hacked it back. It sprouted again, and now I've got the pear tree on the other side of the yard. I've actually decided to get some apples. So hopefully these don't fall off before they're ripe, and we actually get to try apples off this tree for the first time, and we'll keep the tree. We've still got a dedicated bed just for strawberries. End of the season last year, I covered them all, so only half of them really made it back through. I've put too much compost on top of it, but the ones that are there are doing well. Come through and we'll go see the part of the yard we call the courtyard. So last year you would have seen the wine barrel was a new addition. It had a couple of dozen fish in it. It was overflowing with plants. We had a recent problem. We had some local birds coming, eating the fish. We also had a lot of algae in there that ended up choking the plants. So the algae's gone now, and hopefully some new fish are coming again soon. So last time I was pretty happy with the progress of the grass. The problem is we've since got a dog, and the dog decided to dig a bit. The dog stopped digging again now, and the grass is coming back a little bit, but it's going to take some time, so next year the grass will be back on spec. The fernery also copped a little bit of damage. The dog decided it liked to run through the fernery and also use it as a potty. So the plants that are in there are doing fine, but a lot of them got trampled and are resetting themselves. Here's one of the ones that I dug up from the site. So it just grows a little bit invasive, spread to sell, but it's a really good gap filler. It grows a bit taller than this, but it gets some really nice flowers on it. The Pepino Gold is still doing really well. Still gets the odd fruit on it. This one's a young one, not quite ready yet. But it's got a lot of flowers on it, so hopefully get a bit more fruit again soon. So one thing you'll notice throughout the garden is we grow a lot of this sun rose. I like the idea of that because we grow this instead of putting bark down. The elephant in is getting some nice big foliage on it too. So out of all the plants in the courtyard area, the best performer this year, the award goes to the olive tree. Thanks Catalina, doing alright. Let's go check the front yard out. So my cactus supports here are doing really well. I like the way they look, they're rusted up. They're very minimalist, really sturdy, and the cactuses love it. Quite happy with I'm quite happy with how they're looking, except for all the cobwebs. The mandarin tree, it's got some new foliage on it, some new shoots. So hopefully, with all the rain and the sun we had, hopefully it really sprouts up soon. I'm a big fan of the cactuses. I like a good cactus garden, but I also think a garden like this, some established cactus really goes in well. So for the first time this year, we had the bird of paradise break out in flowers. Quite nice. So it's a bit hard to see. This in here, behind the beautiful birds of paradise, and one of my other favourite trees is we have a cherry tree. This thing's trying to get some light, so it's shooting up past the other trees. No cherries yet. Something's actually been eating. Something's been eating the leaves. Should do well there. So out of all the plants in the garden, this one here is probably the one I'd recommend planting the most. It gets these nice flowers on it, but it's not just the flowers that I like. This one probably attracts the most amount of birds and insects. So any nice day, anytime it's about to rain or it's just rained, generally you get butterflies coming here. The bees actually don't come to it quite a whole lot, but you get little flies and all different insects that attracts different birds, and you see the most activity around this one. So if you're going to do a garden, don't know what it's called, but figure it out I guess, plant one of these. At the back here, the kumquat tree, it's not doing a whole lot either. They generally don't grow that big, but we still had no kumquats. I'm hoping the next couple of years of that as well. So pretty much every fruit tree, next couple of years. Another plant I really like are these vines. I think they're a bit of a hybrid plant. Each side gets different colour flowers, but it's really spread. They're joining up at the top, they're starting to go back down on the other one, and it just looks really nice. The newest plant in the garden is this orange tree here. It's just a standard orange, but hopefully it grows as big as strong as the one in the backyard was, and it gets just as many oranges. But once this grows as big as the house, it'll really change the shape of the front yard. So I have my peach tree here. This is a couple of years old now, hasn't done too much. It's still healthy, it's got new shoots, so just might be finally established, and hopefully in a couple of years we'll get some peaches. So this in here, this is a different type of yak. I quite like this one. This is a transplant from Granny Wing's house, Gigi's house. Struggled for a bit, still struggling a bit now, but all the foliage you see is all new foliage, so it's coming back. Ponytail over here is doing really well. It's hard to see, but it's got a pretty chunky trunk on it. That died off as well, but it's got 3 or 4 different shoots on top that all have nice new foliage on it. Alright, that's the garden for this year. Hopefully next year we've got a few more new plants and items that I can share with you. Thanks for watching, and yeah, hope you enjoyed.